Okay, dear students, today we are going to discuss the anatomy of pituitary gland. Anatomy of pituitary gland. Okay, first we are going to start from the introduction of pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary gland, pituitary gland. Everyone has to write with me. Is also called as is also called as hypophysis, hypophysis, hypophysis cerebri, cerebri, right? Okay, pituitary gland is also called as hypophysis cerebri. Next. And the second name for pituitary gland is the second name for pituitary gland is master gland. Is master gland. Finally, pituitary gland is master gland because it controls the secretions of other other endocrine glands. Okay, so this is a bit introduction about the pituitary gland. Okay, now come towards the next point, that is location of pituitary gland. I will show you, as you people can see in this diagram, everything has been shown in this diagram. Okay, first let me to write the location, then I will tell you people what basically the pituitary gland has been placed by the God Almighty in our brain. Now come toward the location. Pituitary gland is pituitary gland is pea size small gland, small gland, which is situated, which is which is situated in sella turcica. Sella turcica. Sella turcica क्या है? Sella turcica is basically the depression in the sphenoid bone where pituitary gland has been placed. ठीक है, अभी मैं दिखाता हूँ आप लोगों को ये इस डायग्राम में, which is situated in sella turcica और hypophyseal fossa भी इसको बोलते हैं, और hypophyseal fossa of sphenoid bone, sphenoid bone, and is suspended suspended from from the floor of third ventricle. Third ventricle. What is meant by this third ventricle? I am going to tell you later on. Third ventricle, right? Pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is about is about 12 millimeter in width, in width, and and 8 millimeter in length. In length. Okay. Next point. It is connected with connected with hypothalamus. Connected with hypothalamus. Thalamus by by infundibular by infundibular fundibular stalk. Okay, this is about the location of pituitary gland. Now I am going to describe it with your paper. अब इधर आप लोगों ने इधर से देखना भी है कि लोकेशन किधर है, ठीक है। और मैं क्या बता रहा हूँ, ये देखो, पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड इज पी साइज स्मॉल ग्लैंड विच इज सिचुएटेड इन सेला तुर्सिका। ये जो मैंने पॉइंट लिखा है, सेला तुर्सिका और हाइपोफिशियल फोसा ऑफ स्फीनोइड बोन। अब आप इधर आ जाओ, डायग्राम है ये जो मैंने शो की हुई है। तो इसमें ये पर जिसको मैं ये देखो कर रहा हूँ, ये स्फीनोइड बोन है, ये देखो, ये ये आगे भी यही, ये स्फीनोइड बोन, ठीक है। उसके अलावा ये देखो, ये पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड है, ये वाला, दिस इज पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड, ठीक है। अब ये स्फीनोइड बोन के अंदर जिस जगह पर मौजूद है, ये वाली, ये जिस जगह पर मौजूद है, ठीक है, वेयर दिस पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड इज प्रेजेंट इज सेला तुर्सिका और हाइपोफिशियल फोसा और ये जो नीचे बोन आपको नजर आ रही है, ये वाला एरिया सारा, ये क्या है, दिस इज ऑल स्फीनोइड बोन, दिस इज ऑल स्फीनोइड बोन, राइट, स्फीनोइड बोन, एंड इट इज सस्पेंडेड फ्रॉम फ्लोर ऑफ थर्ड वेंट्रिकल। ये देखो, आपको ये नीचे नजर आ रहा है, थैलेमस एंड थर्ड वेंट्रिकल, ये देखो इसने शो किया हुआ है, दिस इज द थर्ड वेंट्रिकल, राइट। और ये वाला नीचे, ये हाइपोथैलेमस है, ठीक है, ये ऊपर थैलेमस है, ये थर्ड वेंट्रिकल है, और फिर ये नीचे पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड, राइट। ओके, अब ये व्हाट इज वेंट्रिकल, अब ये वेंट्रिकल क्या है, हमारे ब्रेन के अंदर ना, देयर आर फोर वेंट्रिकल्स, देयर आर, वी विल डिस्कस इन प्रैक्टिकल, ठीक है। देयर आर फोर वेंट्रिकल्स इन आवर ब्रेन, दो आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ सेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड, सीएसएफ की प्रोडक्शन में ये इन्वॉल्व होते हैं। तो ये देखो, इधर आप लोगों को ये फोर्थ वेंट्रिकल भी नजर आ रहा है, ठीक है, ये यहाँ पे ये वाला। तो ये डिफरेंट लोकेशंस पे डिफरेंट वेंट्रिकल्स होते हैं जो कि सीएसएफ को प्रोड्यूस करवाते हैं। तो जो थर्ड वेंट्रिकल है, जो थर्ड वेंट्रिकल है, ये वाला एरिया, ये, ठीक है। तो इसके नीचे क्या होता है, हाइपोथैलेमस, फिर इसके नीचे क्या होता है, पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड, मतलब कि पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड बिल्कुल हाइपोथैलेमस के नीचे एक्सटेंड हुआ होता है, ठीक है। और अटैच किसके साथ होता है, इनफंडिबुलर स्टॉक। अभी हम आगे वाले डायग्राम में देखते हैं कि इनफंडिबुलर स्टॉक है, या आप लोग यहाँ से देख सकते हो, जिस जगह पे ये मैं आप लोगों को कर्सर शो कर रहा हूँ, दैट इज इनफंडिबुलर स्टॉक, दैट इज इनफंडिबुलर स्टॉक, right? Okay, so this is all about the location of pituitary gland. Okay, now come towards the next point, that is parts and structure of uh, pituitary gland. Okay, now pituitary gland, pituitary gland is divided into into two parts, or you people can say that lobes. People can say that lobes. Pituitary gland is divided into two parts or lobes. ठीक है, as you people already know this point. Okay, the first lobe is uh, anterior lobe. First lobe is anterior lobe, or you can say that anterior pituitary, or you people can say that anterior pituitary, anterior pituitary. Okay, okay. The second name, listen and remember, the second name for क्या, the second name for anterior pituitary is adenohypophysis. क्या है, adenohypophysis, adeno adenohypophysis, hypophysis, right. And the second part is posterior pituitary, is posterior pituitary. And the second name for posterior pituitary is neurohypophysis. And the second name for posterior pituitary is neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis. Kindly अपने जो है ना माइक आप लोग ऑफ रखें. Neurohypophysis. Right? Okay. Now again, these two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary, are further divided into again different parts. Right? Adenohypophysis is adenohypophysis. adenohypophysis, right? The adenohypophysis is again further subdivided three parts, into three parts. The first part is pars, pars tuberalis, pars tuberalis, pars tuberalis. Okay, okay, first part. The second part is pars intermedia, pars intermedia, right? And the third part is pars, pars distalis, pars distalis, right? This is adenohypophysis. Okay, I will show you in diagram this, the diagram that two people know seeing. Okay, the second is neurohypophysis. Second is neurohypophysis, hypophysis, right? Now, this neurohypophysis is again divided into uh, different segments or the parts. The first part is median, median eminence, eminence, right? The second part is infundibular stalk, infundibular stalk, right? The third part is pars nervosa. Third part is pars nervosa, right? Okay, now I am going to show all these parts in this diagram. Pituitary gland is divided into two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. So this is this is anterior pituitary. This is anterior pituitary, and this part is this part is posterior pituitary. This part is posterior pituitary. Again, anterior pituitary is also called as adenohypophysis. So that's why it, it has been written pars distalis of adenohypophysis, right? Okay, and adenohypophysis is again further subdivided into three parts. Pars tuberalis, this one, as you people can see in this diagram. This is pars tuberalis. Next is pars intermedia. This one, this portion is pars intermedia. Okay. The last one is pars distalis. This portion is this portion pars distalis, pars intermedia, and pars tuberalis. Right? Okay. Now come towards the neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis is again further divided into median eminence, infundibular stalk, and pars nervosa. Come. This one is median eminence. This portion. You people can see this portion that I am going to make the lines in the portion is hypothalamus. ये क्या है? हाइपोथैलेमस है, ठीक है? फिर हाइपोथैलेमस ये देखो नीचे ये वाला पोर्शन, ये वाला, ठीक है? जिसके जरिए पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड अटैच है किसके साथ? हाइपोथैलेमस के साथ, ठीक है? अच्छा, अब जस्ट आफ्टर द हाइपोथैलेमस इज द पार्ट दैट इज नोन एज मीडियन एमिनेंस, और मीडियन एमिनेंस के बाद ये वाला जो पोर्शन है एक्चुअल, दैट इज इनफंडिबुलर स्टॉक और इनफंडिबुलर स्टेम, ठीक है? ओके, फिर उसके बाद ये वाला पोर्शन सारा, ये वाला पोर्शन, ये पिस्टोरियल पिट्यूटरी है, और ये जो ये वाला पोर्शन है ये क्या है? Anterior pituitary. This is all anterior pituitary. Okay, and we know that the neurohypophysis or posterior pituitary is divided into three parts. This one, median eminence, infundibular stem or stalk, or the third portion is pars nervosa. Third portion is pars nervosa of neurohypophysis. This is neurohypophysis, and this is adenohypophysis. Right? तो इसके भी तीन parts हैं, anterior pituitary के भी और anterior lobe के, posterior lobe के भी तीन parts हैं. Anterior लोब के पार्स ट्यूबिरालिस, पार्स इंटरमीडिया एंड पार्स डिस्टालिस है, और जो न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस है उसके भी क्या है? तीन सब डिवीजन है. द फर्स्ट डिवीजन इज मीडियन एमिनेंस, द सेकंड इज इनफंडिबुलर स्टेम और स्टॉक, एंड द थर्ड वन इज पार्स नर्वोसा ऑफ posterior pituitary. This is all about the structure, location, and introduction of pituitary gland. Okay. Next is the cells of adenohypophysis, right? As we already know that adenohypophysis consists of different parts, pars intermedia, pars tuberalis, and pars distalis. So the Pars distalis of adenohypophysis two type of cells. Consist of two type of cells: chromophobes and chromophiles. Chromophobes and chromophiles. Right. We can now come towards the description of these two types of cells. Chromophobes. These are clear cells and they do not give any color with stain. When we are going to stain these cells, they are not going to appear any color. They don't show any color when they are stained because have lesser number of cell organelles, because you know that the cell organelles basically contain different type of uh, constituents or ions, hydrogen ions, and other type of ions. So because of those ions, these stains, when we are going to stain cells, they give different colors. उसकी वजह से कलर देते हैं, तो जिस सेल में ऑर्गेनल्स कम हो गया तो वो फिर स्टेन भी कम देते हैं, एंड दिस सेल्स मेक 50% ऑफ द पार्स डिस्टेलिस, राइट? ओके, नाउ कम टुवर्ड्स द क्रोमोफाइल्स. Chromophiles are organelles rich cells and they give blue and red color with stain. When we're going to stain with different type of SD called basic stain, they give blue and red color. And these cells also make 50% of the pars distalis, right? Now come towards the acidophiles. The chromophiles are again subdivided into acidophiles and basophiles. Acidophiles, they give red color with stain and make 10% of the pars distalis. Okay. And the acidophiles are again further subdivided into two different categories. And the first category is somatotrophs, and the second category is mammatotrophs. Somatotrophs are going to release somatotrophin releasing hormone or somatotrophic releasing hormone, and mammatotrophs are going to release prolactin releasing hormone. We are not going into the details of the function because we are concerned here with anatomy, right? Okay. Now come to the basophiles. These are blue. These cells show blue color when they're going to be stained, and these cells make 40% of the pars distillates, and these cells are again further subdivided into different cells, and the name of the cells are uh, gonadotrophs, corticotrophs, thyrotrophs, and luteotrophs. Okay, similarly gonadotrophs is again going to release hormone FSH, follicular stimulating hormone. Corticotrophs are going to release adenocorticotrophic hormone, and thyrotrophs are going to release TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, and luteotrophs are going to release luteinizing hormone in case of females. Okay. In case of males, they are going to release, I think, ICSH. Females, ICSH. In case of males, right? So these are about the cells of adenohypophysis, or we can say that uh, anterior pituitary. Now come towards the cells of posterior pituitary. Okay, now I will write a bit. Cells of posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary, or we can say that neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis, right? Pituitary, the posterior pituitary or the neurohypophysis contains the endings of supraoptic, supraoptic and paraventricular, paraventricular nucleus. As you can see here in this diagram, this green color star-shaped nucleus, which is I have shown with this green supraoptic nucleus, right? It is present in the hypothalamus. Supraoptic nucleus is basically a collection of cell bodies to which a bunch of neurons are going to be originated. Okay, so, and the likewise, paraventricular nucleus is also a nucleus or bundle of cell bodies in the nucleus. As you people already know that the bundle of nucleus in the brain or in the central nervous system is known as nucleus. So these are the cluster of the cell bodies through which a bunch of neurons are going to be originated. Right? These are these green color neurons or these black color neurons. These green color neurons uh, are going to be originated from paraventricular, sorry, supraoptic nucleus, and these black color neurons are going to be originated from paraventricular nucleus. Okay. Second point is that neurohypophysis, neurohypophysis posterior pituitary. Listen and remember and keep in your mind the neurohypophysis, that is posterior pituitary, never going to make hormones like we have just studied in the adenohypophysis. These hormones or releasing factors are going to be formed or in the adenohypophysis, in the actual cells of adenohypophysis. But in case of posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis, does not make any hormone, and it has only ability to release or to store those neurons only, because those two uh, hormones, vasopressin here and oxytocin, these two, vasopressin and oxytocin, are going to be released from supraoptic nucleus and paraventricular nucleus respectively. They are going to be formed in this nucleus. Then these moves through these neurons. Those are basically unmyelinated neurons, and reaches in the posterior pituitary here, and where these are going to be released, not formed. ओके, इसमें बनते नहीं है, बल्कि ये इसमें आगे स्टोर होते हैं, फिर यहाँ से ये रिलीज होते हैं. बट इन केस ऑफ एडिनो हाइपोफाइसिस, जो यहाँ पे हार्मोन है वो बनते ही इधर है, या ठीक है, ओके राइट. डज नॉट मेक एनी हार्मोन बट स्टोर देम. Now come towards the supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus. Supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus. Supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus. These are cluster of cell bodies. I have already told you people in a few words back. These are the cluster of the cell bodies in hypo hypothalamus, and they are going to form two hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin. Supraoptic nucleus is going to release vasopressin, vasopressin, right? And paraventricular nucleus, is going to release oxytocin, oxytocin, which is hormone. And keep in your mind. And oxytocin is also called as hormone of love, hormone of love. Okay. Now come towards the another type of cells here in posterior pituitary, and these cells are pituocytes. Pituocytes. We'll explain in the details in this diagram as well. Pituocytes are neuronal cells, especially we can say that the glial cells present in pars nervosa, pars pars nervosa of posterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. And these pituocytes are responsible for and responsible for nourishment, and storage of oxytocin and vasopressin, right? These are the pituocytes. As you can see in this diagram, the green type of neuronal cells are pituocytes, right? Okay. Now come towards another thing, that is hypophyseal tract. Hypothalamo hypophyseal tract. As you people already know, it is a bundle of neurons in the central nervous system. So as you can see here in this diagram, this is the bundle of neurons, this that I have shown in this diagram. Hypothalamo hypophyseal tract means it is a bundle of nerves or the neurons. Okay, so that's what is going to be known as tract. And this whole bunch of neurons coming from paraventricular and supraoptic nucleus are basically hypothalamo hypophyseal tract. Okay, these are those neurons, those are going to carry vasopressin and oxytocin all the way from hypothalamus towards posterior pituitary. And these are unmyelinated neurons. These are unmyelinated, unmyelinated neurons, right? These are bundle of neurons coming from supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus and carry oxytocin and vasopressin from hypothalamus into the uh, posterior pituitary. Unmyelinated neurons, these are. Now come towards another point, that is herring bodies. These are, what are these? These are herring bodies. Herring, herring bodies. Okay. Listen and remember these nerve terminal, these one, these, the ending portion of these neurons, hypothalamus, hypophyseal tract, these one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, this one. These are herring bodies, herring bodies, right? These are the ending portion. Listen and remember, ending portion of unmyelinated, unmyelinated neurons. Okay, this is all about the uh, posterior pituitary. Okay, now I'm going to explain this diagram a little more. So this is the hypothalamus, as you can see in this diagram. This is the paraventricular nucleus, this one, and this is supraoptic nucleus. And a bundle of neurons are going to be originated from these two nucleus and going all the way from infundibular into the posterior pituitary, right? And this ending portion of these neurons are herring bodies, and these collectively known as hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract system, right? These are the pituicytes. This is neurohypophysis. These are the blood capillaries are also here in the posterior pituitary as well, right? And this is the adenohypophysis, contain acidophile, basophiles. Here are the blood vessels, and the rest of the portions you people already know this. Okay, this is all about the uh, posterior pituitary. Now come to the blood supply of the uh, pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is supplied by inferior and superior. Pituitary gland is supplied by sup superior, 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 and inferior, inferior hypophyseal arteries. Hypophyseal, hypophyseal arteries. And these arteries are going to be originated from carotid artery. We'll see you in the next portion. Coming from carotid artery, right? And there are two type of arteries: superior hypophyseal artery and inferior hypophyseal artery. Superior hypophyseal artery and inferior hypophyseal artery, right? Listen and remember. This superior hypophyseal artery is going to supply the blood to the median, median eminence, median eminence, and lower part of gland. And inferior hypophyseal artery is going to supply posterior part in fundibular and rest of portion. Okay, this is all about the blood supply of pituitary gland. Now come to the relation of uh, pituitary gland. There are three relation. Okay, superior, inferior, sorry, inferior, and lateral. Okay, so as you can see in this diagram, uh, this is the third ventricle, this is the optic chiasma, and this is pituitary gland. You can see that these are the lateral sides of pituitary gland. Okay, on the lateral side, these carotid arteries are present. On the lateral side, we can say that carotid artery is present. Carotid artery, right? Okay. Now come to the inferior side. Inferior side, the you can see this is sphenoid bone, this one, and these are the sphenoid sinus. Okay, you can write sphenoid bone or sphenoid sinus, right? Superior. You can say that this is the infundibular, and this is the portion that is called as diaphragma sali. Okay, superiorly. Diaphragma, diaphragma sali. Okay, so you can see in this diagram all the relations of the pituitary gland. This is the coronal view, this is sagittal view. In the sagittal view, you can also see these things: sphenoid sinus, posterior, anterior, third ventricular. So these are this. So this is all about the anatomy of pituitary gland.